Today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp.com, and I've been with them for a long time. BetterHelp is an online platform where we found that you can effectively communicate with your therapist. Now, you begin by filling out a questionnaire, and then you'll be matched with a therapist within a couple of days. And if that match isn't ideal for you, you can certainly make an adjustment there. Now, you're going to be encouraged to journal, and also they have the availability for group therapy on a wide array of topics, and I really like that. So as the need exists, go ahead and take the necessary steps to get the help that you need. And just know that BetterHelp has a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, so it indeed is a platform you can trust. There's a link below the video that will take you there. There are many reasons, justifiably so, for us to have a sense of weariness as we consider the whole culture of narcissism that we live in. I've spoken to so many individuals who will tell me stories about being impacted by these grossly selfish and controlling and overbearing individuals, to where they can honestly say, here are the many reasons that my quality of life has been brought down because of these disturbed individuals. And so my heart goes out to you and anyone else who can say, yeah, I've got some serious stories that I can tell. And then also, as we think about, developing an understanding of narcissism, there are many different ways that we can look at that and what it is and what it means. Now, to give you a little summarization of where I come from, there are three distinct patterns that I watch for that tell me, what happens when narcissism is present. First of all, when I talk about the subject of narcissism, I'm describing the dark side of the human condition. Every one of us has our moments where we can have those ingredients that we refer to as narcissistic. For example, we can each be selfish, we can each be controlling, we can each sometimes be insensitive, which means a lack of empathy. We can each seek out dominance and power and superiority over other individuals. I mean, it's just in there. It's part of the human condition. Now, healthy individuals will say, yes, I see that, and I'm going to do something constructive about it. The narcissists are the ones who just blow right past it, and it's like, well, that's central to who I am. So it's the dark side of the human condition. In addition, when I talk about narcissism, I refer to it as a failed attempt at pain management. Every one of us, myself included, and every single person in my office, has been wounded in some way by individuals, sometimes many individuals or institutions beyond. And we each carry those wounds throughout our childhood and into our adult years. And some individuals respond to the woundedness by determining to examine what's going on there, and so they can take a different path. Others, though, they are so consumed with the woundedness that's been brought to them that they stay stuck, and they can't manage it very well, and they get caught up in all sorts of strains and difficulties. And again, that feeds the narcissistic pattern. Narcissists are wounded individuals, but they have not learned how to manage their wounds in a very constructive kind of way. And then a third pattern that I watch for is I refer to narcissism as the absence of love. Narcissists overlook the ultimate indicator of an actualized life. And when I say actualized, where you're actually living into the ultimate good that we were meant to maintain. Narcissism represents love's opposites. Okay, so there are different ways for us to examine narcissism. Now, I've been asked, or sometimes we can say chided, many times by people in my viewing audience and the folks I've spoken to, who want me to publicly call out prominent narcissists. And my quandary is, well, if I'm going to start calling out certain people who are strong narcissists that we all would probably know who they are, who do I put on the list and who do I leave off of the list? Because it's going to be a really long list. For example, I get a lot of comments about people who are strong narcissists that are in leadership positions in the government. Likewise, I hear a lot of people who will say, well, there have been some very prominent religious leaders and institutions that have brought havoc to my life or to the lives of many individuals. Or we can take a look at Hollywood and the entertainment business. And we can say, well, that's full of narcissism, and look what that does to teach us. We can talk about sports idols or greedy business individuals. We can talk about inequalities inside the legal system. We can talk about people that consider themselves to be socially elite. We can talk about family members and those that you were connected to, or now who may be your exes or family members that you don't have any contact with. We can put them on the list. We can talk about mean girls and folks in the or gangs or people in our surroundings that perpetuate it. Who do we talk about? And one of the things that I have decided is I don't really feel like we do a whole lot of good to say, well, I'm going to single out that person or this person and tell you how awful they are, because what it does is it just makes us think, well, who's on the list, or what's wrong with you that you say something about this person but not that person? My desire as I talk about narcissism is to create as thorough and a comprehensive understanding with the people that I have any kind of influence with. I want to create an understanding of the whole pattern of narcissism and its many dysfunctions, for the sole purpose of you knowing how to respond in such a way where you don't get pulled down by their dysfunctions, but you can rise above and become the better alternative. Somebody needs to say, well, enough's enough, and I'm hoping that can be you, and I'm hoping that can be me. Now, having said all of this, there's one thing that bothers me the most. When we think about people in our world who've been strongly narcissistic and who've created a negative impact on us, and that is, we can focus so heavily on what they out there have done that's wrong, that we become permanently stuck in the damage that's been created on the inside of us. Now, we have a term for that, and we call that, trauma bonding. And by that I mean our hurt and our pain and our strain is so strong that we remain tethered to that person who generated, or those persons, to the extent that that strong negativity takes over. And it causes us to have many dysfunctional reactions because we just can't get that person out of our head. We can't get them out of our sphere of influence. Now, we have another term that we can use, and that's called reactive abuse. You have been abused, but then you can come back with mimicking types of behaviors towards the one who's done this for you. For example, the narcissistic world out there is filled with hate. You know what? I can hate right back. Or the narcissistic world out there prompts ugly anger. You want to see my ugly anger? I got plenty of it. I'm gonna let you have it. Or the narcissist can be highly manipulative and sneaky and conniving. I've got my times when I can be that same way too. I can do the same. Narcissists can hold on to grudges. They can be very contemptuous in the way that they engage with people. I've got my grudges. I've got my contempt as well. The narcissist will come at you with foul language or demeaning and condescending comments. I can do the same in reverse. Narcissists can be very stubborn and closed-minded as they maintain their opinions. And it's like, yeah, I can do the same in reverse. But of course, my way's right. And again, I'm not saying that it's wrong for you to have your feelings. I'm not saying that it's wrong for you to have your raw reactions at times, because nobody's going to respond well when people treat you poorly. So if you sometimes don't give the right reaction, we're going to give you a mulligan on that one at times. But ultimately, I think we want to ask, well, if we're so busy identifying narcissism and then bashing them and then talking about how awful they are and how much havoc they've wreaked, who's going to be left to stand in decency? And I'm hoping that can be you and that can be me. Again, you have some very valid complaints and some very valid concerns related to that narcissist. But another question, though, that we want to ask is, well, have any good lessons emerged from your experiences? Or are you just simply stuck in, here's what's wrong, let me do some more bashing because I haven't gotten to the place of my own personal growth? So my concern is that as we grapple with this pervasive pattern of narcissism and that's created by the whole narcissistic movement, it would be easy for us to join in with a culture of denunciation. I denounce this person or that group, but in the process, we don't grow on a personal level. So my question is, what would it look like for us to enter into that actualization process? And when I say actualization, leaning into a sense of purpose and meaning and being the kind of person that ultimately illustrates, I get it. I understand what the good life is. For example, if narcissism represents the dark side of the human condition, what represents light? And I come up with words like love and joy and peace and patience and kindness. I like those kind of words. If narcissism is a failed attempt at pain management, then what does healing look like? And how can I be an agent of healing? And to that effect, I want to be somebody who shows goodness, specifically to those that I might not really want to the other, if you will. I want to be a person that's involved in acts of service and volunteerism. I want to participate in uplifting community kind of projects, and not just on special holidays. If narcissism is the absence of love, then what does the presence of love look like? And to that effect, I want to stand in characteristics like being approachable or fair-minded, or when I do need to stand up for my convictions, which is fair and necessary, I want to do so in such a way where I keep my dignity intact and I lay the foundation for others to maintain theirs. I want to be respectful. I want to be an encourager, and even as I have to face and confront and set consequences for difficult situations, I'm going to be somebody that does so while maintaining a sense of decency. Here on Team Healthy, Dr. C, DRC, stands for dignity, respect, and civility. So it's easy for you and me to say, here's what narcissists have done that's ruinous, and those people over there and those people over there need to be called out. Okay, I get where you're coming from. But my question to you and for myself is, do you want to know what the better path looks like? Watch me. That's where I want to go. Now, I hope that videos like this can give you some good things to think about. I know that narcissism is such a difficult topic, but I'm hoping that you can learn about it for that purpose of you growing. So if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so, and we're going to keep more of these kind of videos coming toward you. Now, you know that I'm a huge proponent of therapy. If you have a need for therapy, maybe you have somebody in your area that could help you out, but if not, or if you prefer differently, we have an online resource that is available to you. There's a link below the video here with the folks at BetterHelp.com. Everyone is a licensed professional therapist there. You can answer a few questions, and then hopefully you can find somebody that can work with you in a very constructive way. As the need is there, please get the help that would be warranted. Now, also, I would invite you to go to my website where I have lots, and when I say lots, it's a big website, lots of information. We have my courses. There are 4 courses there. Each one has at least 25 teaching videos with handouts and guided questions. I'm a therapist, and so the courses are my way of walking you through various kinds of issues. We have anger games. This is me about boundaries. We have Ready, Set, Connect, which is about having healthy connections, free to be finding yourself despite those controllers. And then also you'll find under the webinar tab the PowerPoint presentations that I've put together, along with many articles, my books, lots of resources. I know that you've been hurt, and I know that you've been damaged by narcissistic individuals, and I'm hoping that you can have that sense of resolve that says, well, I'm going in a very different direction. That's the best way to respond, as opposed to just perpetuating the bashing and just saying, I'm going to jump in and do the same to them that they do to me. I don't want to go that path. I want to be a person of insight and steadiness, and then ultimately I'm hoping you can join me as we each maintain a sense of peace that eludes the narcissist, but I'm hoping it can be something that you and I possess.